Good evening. Tonight is my last night after 2 weeks in the Pilbara, and I'm using it to review what's above me here, the Oztrail Comet camp light. So I've had a good 2 weeks in the bush to see how this thing goes, and I'm pretty impressed. I first heard about it through Nick Underwood from Western Four-Wheel Driver magazine. I was out with him filming a few things and he popped this thing up that looks like an old street lamp around camp, and it threw light just so far. I thought, I gotta have one of them. So I did. I got it at the Caravan and Camping Show. It was either from Ranger Outdoors or Getaway Outdoors. I can't remember, but it was on a super good special. The retail price is somewhere around the $130 to $140, and I picked it up for somewhere between $70 and $80, can't quite remember now, but it's an absolute steal. So with the Oztrail Comet, there's two different kinds. There's the one I've got here, the 2,500 lumen, and then there's a smaller one as well, which I think is 1,600 lumen, but don't quote me on that one. It draws 2 amps per hour, which is pretty good, and it can get up to 4 meters above your camp. It's hanging a little bit lower now, it's probably at about 2 meters. It all depends on how you can get the thing pitched in its little anchor in the ground. My overcompensation hammer. So how it works, you've just got the LED in the middle, and a nice little sort of domed reflector. It hangs on the end of this telescopic rod, and you just stretch them out. They must be tapered at the end or something, because you just pull them and they lock into place like that. It's almost like a fishing rod. And then in the ground you've got the stake. You whack the stake in there and you just pop the base in. After 2 weeks in the bush with it, the stake is probably the only part that I can pick that could use a little bit of work. It's not very good in high wind conditions. It's a little bit breezy here tonight. It's actually died down a bit, which is nice. And even in a little bit of a breeze, it bobs around a lot, it sways a lot. Another problem obviously is you have to have the stake, and in the Pilbara a lot of things are pretty rocky, so I've gone around in about a metre circumference and tried bashing the thing in like 10 times to find a spot where there's not a rock. And you have to get all the way down to the little flat piece of metal at the bottom, because it seems to rely on that flat piece of metal as a rest. If you don't get it all the way in, the weight of that light, even though it's not much, at the end of that 4 metre pole, you have a problem with the light just bending right down, and it just bends, it just lays the peg over. So of all the things, I think Oztrail could probably improve that peg and make it so the light can't swivel around wherever it wants. But otherwise, yeah, it does pretty well. I haven't had a single problem with it. It's got a nice little inline dimmer switch, all waterproof connections, or water resistant, I've got to say. I haven't dunked them in a bucket of water, so I don't really know how waterproof they are. So 2,500 lumens, that's pretty bright. And it's even better when it's 4 meters above you and it just spreads it out over your whole campsite. I was having a nap down at Desert Queen Baths actually, and a lot of people walking back and forth past our camp to go and check out the bath. And every single group I heard walk past said, "Oh, look at that light." Oztrail Comet camp light, definitely, thumbs up, top purchase. I might try and work out something better for myself with regards to a stake to hold it in the ground. It'd be nice if Oztrail could improve on that a bit, but otherwise, I reckon you'd be pretty happy with your purchase.